Good day everyone and welcome back to another Warzone Solos weapon review. Continuing on after my Kilo review last time, I'm going back and revisiting old meta weapons to see how they fare now that we have moved across to Warzone Pacific or Caldera, as many of the old meta guns I think suit this new map very well. So the weapon I'm going to be looking at today is the C58. The C58 was a weapon that was first introduced as part of the Battle Pass in Black Ops Cold War Season 4 in June 2021. Initially, it was quite overlooked due to being released at the same time as the rapid-fire mean machine that was the MG82. The MG82 quickly dominated the meta with its rapid fire rate, high damage and almost non-existent recoil, making it better than even sniper rifles at long range. However, the C58 did have a period of dominance of its own. Following the Season 4 Reloaded patch that nerfed the MG82, the C58 quickly became one of the go-to weapons for most players. Hard hitting, with relatively controllable recoil, the weapon also proved extremely dangerous when in the hands of a skilled player. Unlike other weapons from Cold War, such as the Farah, the C58 does have medium levels of recoil and a slower fire rate, so you have to keep your shots on target at longer range, which takes a bit of skill, otherwise it isn't worth using as the slow fire rate means missed shots drop your TTK through the floor, so something like the Farah would be more useful. So C58 was very much a high skill, high reward weapon. The C58 now has a damage profile of 58 to the head, 44 to the neck, and 37 damage to everywhere else on the body when engaging at distances within 25 meters. Outside of 25 meters, it deals 53 damage to the head, 40 to the neck, and 34 elsewhere, with a fire rate of 553 rounds per minute. This differs drastically from the Kilo that I reviewed in my last video, which has a faster rate of fire, lower recoil, and lower damage. However, what doesn't change is how effective this weapon can be on Caldera. The class I recommend will be shown at the end of the video, but I will explain which attachments I chose and the reasons for them here. First up, the muzzle I chose was the agency suppressor, which ensures your shots are hidden from the minimap. Also, this attachment improves bullet velocity by 25% and pushes the range out by an additional 10%. Over the monolithic suppressor on the Kilo, this does have a further advantage in the fact that it decreases vertical recoil by 5%, and this is all for a relatively small penalty of 21 milliseconds ADS time. So there's really not much reason not to use the agency suppressor, as you want that range as long as possible and as high bullet velocity as possible, and the additional recoil reduction is just a bonus. You could always choose to use the basic suppressor, which doesn't have quite as good bullet velocity or range, however comes with less ADS penalty, though I think 21 milliseconds is not a huge penalty for what you get with the agency suppressor. The barrel of choice is the 18.5 inch Task Force barrel. This further increases range and bullet velocity by 35 and 50% respectively. In addition to this, it decreases both horizontal and vertical recoil by 10%. The cost for this is a relatively small ADS penalty again, along with a big penalty to your hipfire accuracy, and then a small penalty to your movement speed. The best optic for Cold War weapons, in my opinion, is the Axial Arms 3x scope, which provides the required magnification for identifying targets at long range, whilst also further reducing horizontal and vertical recoil by another 10%. This comes with another small ADS penalty of 21 milliseconds. For the underbarrel, we've gone for the Field Agent grip, which reduces the recoil even further in exchange for reducing our firing movement speed. The final attachment is to the ammunition, for which we use the Stanag 55 round mag. This provides you with the required number of rounds to take down multiple targets without the need for reloading, in exchange for an ADS penalty. If you're an accurate player, or playing smaller modes, you could instead use the 45 round magazine, which comes with a slightly smaller ADS penalty. I wouldn't recommend using the 50 round fast mag, as the ADS penalty is too severe, so it does stop this weapon being very snappy. The end result here is a weapon that can now inflict maximum damage up to 37 meters. The ADS is also not too poor despite all the penalties we've taken at 364 milliseconds, which is far superior to the Kilo, which I've shown in the previous video, and superior to most other long-range assault rifles and light machine guns once they've been built up properly for loadout. This means you can snap onto targets much faster. The weapon can also challenge at relatively close ranges too, as its high damage per bullet can decimate opponents, though I wouldn't recommend challenging at SMG ranges. Instead, pair this with a close quarters weapon such as the well gun, the MP40, or maybe even a shotgun. The recoil is very manageable. Whilst its vertical kick is more substantial than most other weapons, it has very negligible horizontal bounce. That means in order to control the recoil, all you need to do is pull down on your right stick or pull down with your mouse in order to control just that vertical kick. You don't have to worry about any side-to-side recoil patterns like you get on the Modern Warfare weapons. This means that with a bit of practice, you should be able to keep almost all of your rounds on target whilst outputting those huge damage numbers. This makes the C58 a formidable weapon that is capable of decimating your enemies at almost every range in Caldera, and is definitely one of the meta primaries currently in Warzone. Now, into the gameplay in the background. For you here, playing in the background, I have the start of a solos game where we do end up getting the win, and we end up with 18 kills by the end, many of which are inflicted by the C58. I will also give my overall rating and last thoughts and opinions on the C58 towards the end when I show up the custom class.
Target identified. Slot the bastard. Target is down. Well done.
Request recon flyover.
UAV entering the AO.
I'm off this way.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
There, going in. this way. Request recon flyover.
UAV entering the AO.
There, going in.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located.
There, going in. There, going in.
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
K-Actual, send the flyover.
UAV entering the AO. Gas is inbound.
Vendor here
Be
if you need
advised,
equipment.
UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
Does anyone want this? Does anyone want this? flyover.
Copy. Advanced UAV entering the AO. Scanning for hostiles. Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply. Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply.
I'm off this way. Request recon flyover.
UAV entering the AO. Enemy UAV overhead.
I'm off this way. Does anyone want
Be advised, UAV is bingo fuel. RTB for resupply. Objective is to eliminate the bounty target. Gas is closing. Get to the new safe zone. Enemy loadout drop on the way. 4 targets remaining. Good work. Gas is moving.
target? Request recon flyover.
Well done. UAV entering the AO. Scanning for hostiles. Marking new safe zone. Be advised, advance single fuel returning to base. Got gas moving in.
Found some cash here. Cancel my last.
Gas is moving in. New safe zone located. Ground. Job done. Solid work.
So, as you saw there, 18 kill gameplay, many of which with the C58. On screen now, you can see the custom class that I used. I very much enjoyed using this weapon. I was quite pleasantly surprised at how easy it was to control and how much damage we really could put down range on our opponents. I would say that at super long ranges, that lack of controllability though compared to a kilo will mean that you'll struggle to take down opponents at crazy long ranges. I think overall this weapon probably is pretty similar to the kilo though due to its high damage. Therefore, I'm going to give this weapon a 7 out of 10, but I definitely think it is usable within Caldera and better than many of the assault rifles and deserves to be used by more of you than it does currently. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please drop a like and please subscribe, as I will be continuing these Warzone solos weapon reviews. And I really hope to catch a few of you on the next one.